This plant, a plant that is after my heart. Oh goodness, I need a glossary. Happily, she's pushed so many peduncles that at any given point, I will have an active bloom. I cannot get over just how beautiful this leaf is. I might actually get Hoya Carnosa blooms. Like, what? Aren't they juicy? Like, what other word could I use? Hi Hoya lovers, we are back for another video to talk about a genus that's also dear to our hearts. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my favorite Hoya of the month of June. So by the time you see this, I know it's going to be July, and I try to put them in the exact month that they came out, but June was crazy. Here we are. Did recently film my Hoya blooms video, but there are Hoya that I want to celebrate outside of the Hoya that's blooming and how I got them to bloom. In my usual fashion, I will be separating my plants that I'm going to talk about today into 4 or 5 different categories. Here's a quick rundown of how it goes. First, I talk about the comeback. So the plant that was struggling but made a strong comeback, and I'm excited about it. Then I talk about the fastest grower, the plant that just has been doing the most in trying to push out a lot of new leaves. I have a really unexpected one for you. You're not gonna guess which one it is. Unless you follow me on Instagram, then you might have a guess. But if not, you're not gonna guess which one it is. The next one that I'm gonna talk about is the showstopper. The plant that has some beautiful leaves, catches my eye every time I walk past it. And then we have the peduncle pushers. A few new peduncle pushers that I want to share with you. Maybe since we're talking about it, I want to just throw in pictures or how the ones that were starting to push peduncles earlier in the month, how they're looking now. So I'll give you a little bit of an update. And last but not least is the MVP, the plant that blows my mind, the one that I have to make a lot of effort not to stop and admire because it's just so beautiful. Let's get started. I actually did not expect that this plant would ever bounce back. This one was in such a rough state. I never thought that it would come back at all. I'm surprised it has. This is a plant you would have recently seen on my struggling plants video, Hoya Laconosa silver mint coin, I think it is. Now this plant used to be one of my most beautiful Hoyas. This plant used to be my MVP until I switched substrates, and it never recovered ever since then. People looked at it and like, that doesn't look like it was struggling, but it was. It had wrinkly leaves. They were super floppy. They weren't doing well. Funny enough, in my last Hoya video, you would have seen my Hoya hot takes video. I talk about the product that changed the game for this plant, orchid spray. Hoya, you probably already know this, can absorb fertilizer or nutrition from their leaves and many parts of the plant, not just from the roots like most plants. And I already knew that about Hoya, and it's almost like I forgot about it. And I stopped spraying my plants with orchid spray for a long time. I found the orchid spray days ago, maybe a week ago. I just went around spraying all my Hoya, and I kid you not, maybe if not the next day, maybe 2 days after, this plant plumped up. The leaves got firmer. Remember how floppy they were? And they are much less floppy. They're much firmer. They're harder to bend now. It's something that I can feel. Like, they're not paper thin like before. They have a little bit more resistance to them, and it just looks so much better. It's less wrinkled. Well, after that video, when I tried to zhuzh it up a little bit, I just took off some of the leaves that were so floppy that I never thought that they would ever recover, and I took them off. So now it's doing so much better. I do think it is fighting a pest at this point. I do think it's thrips, but I recently, as in when I say recently, I mean like 2 days ago, I started using a new pest spray, and it is blowing my mind. It is working so well. I can already see a change. So I think I just need to reapply. I see some spots that I missed, but I am shocked. There's nothing quite like new leaves to let you know that a plant is trying to make a comeback, and then them not actually falling off. These beautiful glossy leaves. Aren't they juicy? Like, what other word could I use to describe it? Give me some words down below if juicy is one that I'm overusing. But look at how beautiful the new leaves are. I am so happy that this plant is finally making a comeback. It's doing so much better, and it's starting to push new peduncles, but not just that, new blooms coming out of the peduncles. I'm not sure if it'll actually go all the way, because if you look here, you'll see that this peduncle is already yellowing. So I don't think that it'll go all the way. I don't think it's that strong as yet, but it is really, really positive. It is looking really good. And I'm just surprised that it hasn't dropped the peduncles, but it has at least 3 solid peduncles that's attempting to push blooms, but they're blasting. But anyways, that's okay. I prefer the plant to focus on new growth. Just fill out this trellis nicely. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for this plant. And so just for a little bit of backstory, in case you didn't know, this used to be in, I think it used to be in semi-hydro, and then I ran out of Lechuza pond, so I decided to move it to an organic mix, and it loathed that. It really did not like the organic mix, and so I put it into my homemade DIY pond, and now we're having a comeback, and I think it prefers pond in addition to that orchid spray boost. I think it's just a perfect combination, and blasting it with light. I'm so happy about it. Yay! So the next plant on today's list is going to be my fastest grower, and honestly I think this plant will surprise you. I never thought this plant could do the things that it's been doing lately. The plant that I'm talking about is my Hoya Coresier Silver. No, Steph, it's a Hoya Snowy Silver. On Instagram I posted what was happening with this plant as it was happening. It started pushing all of a sudden 6 new leaves at the very same time. It's very unusual for this plant to push out so many new leaves at once, but it sure did. So it pushed out this vine, and on this vine it had like, you know, 2-3 leaves, and then all of a sudden it just pushed out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe 7, this one up here. So many new leaves. I really wasn't expecting the plant to push out this many leaves, and they look so beautiful because the new leaves get this very dark purple sun-stressed look to them when they're new, and then even if I don't change the light, it fades out and become like the usual Coresier color, like that splashy silver like look to them. I'm very impressed. I'm very excited that it decided to push so many leaves for me. I bought this plant as a 1-leaf cutting, and I really did not expect very much from it. It made me so nervous because for a long time it did nothing, and just all of a sudden this year it just pushed out a bunch of new growth. It desperately needs to be repotted. It's in my chunky DIY mix. The roots are coming out at the bottom here, and it's drying out really, really fast. But I was waiting for the leaves to harden off, because if you know me, you know my rule: do not repot Hoya when they're pushing peduncles or new leaves, because they will drop all the leaves for you. So I was waiting for the new leaves to harden off, and it seems like they have, for the most part. Oh no, I have like, no, I think they still need a few more days to harden off. And as you can see, too much light. It's next to a Sansi grow light. It had a little too much light, and it burnt the leaves and curled it completely. So that's too bad. But as soon as these other leaves harden off, I will be taking it out of this self-watering pot and putting it into a bigger self-watering pot. It is really hard. The camera is struggling to focus on this plant for some reason. But yeah, so this is the best that I can do with showing the leaves. But that's it here. It's such a beautiful plant. I'm so glad. I do think I will put it on a trellis. I'm trying to slow down on how many plants I trellis at the moment, because sometimes they don't fit. But this plant, it needs something. When it gets support, that's when it goes crazy. But that's this guy, and it's growing over here under my Sansi lights, like I mentioned. And then I let it wrap around to get support this way. I wrap it around the pole and let it climb up the pole of the shelf, and it seems to like it because it's growing towards the grow lights, and it seems pretty content with that. So I'm happy for it. It's happy, and we're finally getting somewhere. But it's time to repot. 2 weeks ago I shared with you the peduncle pushers, plants that were pushing crazy peduncles, and I think I just showed you the peduncles. I don't think the plants had any blooms at the time when I showed it to you. So here is what the blooms look like. They have bloomed. I need to vacuum. These are blooms falling off. This plant, the Hoya Rebecca, has bloomed so many times. The blooms have had their peaks and they've fallen off. Happily, She's pushed so many peduncles that at any given point I will have an active bloom. This one has peaked already, if I can say so. They're not at their prime. It's a few days past their prime. But anyways, they still look absolutely gorgeous. And they smell like, my scent is back. I have a cold and I haven't been able to smell for the past couple days. Yeah, it smells like roses, but it smells sweeter. It has a much stronger scent. There is this fragrance. Someone gifted me like a little scent by, what's it called? The brand is doTERRA. I don't know if you know about doTERRA, but they've got these little fragrance bottles. Someone gave me like a sample size one time. It's called Adaptive. If you've ever smelled doTERRA's Adaptive, that is what this reminds me of. There is probably an ingredient or a note that's very reminiscent of this. Not entirely, it doesn't smell exactly like it, but there's something in the doTERRA that reminds me of this. It just gives you an idea. If you've ever smelled that, you know what this smells like. Another plant from the Peduncle Pusher Day. I'm so sorry, I'm so dark. My camera is not having fun today. But another plant from it was my Hoya Petolata Splash. Remember, it was just these baby peduncles. I think that's what they looked like at the time, or did they look like this already? They have not opened. Actually, no, that's not true. They did open. They opened, but they did not last for very long and they did not have a strong scent. So I do believe that's because they were like stressed peduncles, but I have a feeling it pushed out this peduncle. I think it liked it and it decided to push out more. So I actually have 2 more and there are probably more in here somewhere. But yeah, it's still going strong. It's still doing well. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. And that's the Hoya Petolata Splash. No scent. I'm a little disappointed, but maybe the new ones will have a scent. Another peduncle pusher that I will have to get you some B-roll of. It's in a spot that I don't want to move. And that's my Hoya Matilde. It's behind the camera right here. If I actually do this, her vines might even come into the camera a little bit. Yeah, can you see the vines there? So she's literally right there. I never thought that this plant would give me peduncles this year. It came with a huge peduncle when I got the plant, but it's just never pushed anything from that and it never attempted to do anything. But I think a lot of Hoya, they have like rounds of blooms. They all sort of bloom at around the same time because I've heard other people mention that their Rebeccas are blooming and that their Matildes are blooming. It's pushed out these very tiny peduncles that look like they could fall off at any minute, but that's the way the peduncles start. A lot of times they were like this very skinny, very delicate looking stick coming out of the plant, and not too long after it really matures and becomes this very fruitful peduncle that's solid and pushes out blooms. Another peduncle pusher that I have so many to share with you. I'm so sorry. It is stuck. I went out of town for a couple of days. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I'll insert like a clip. When I went to my desk, I noticed this plant. The vine was coming onto my desk and starting to trying to wrap around my laptop wires. It was so cute. And one person messaged me and said, "It missed you," or something like that. And I just found that was very cute. This is a bunch of Hoya Carnosas. So whenever I have not very variegated leaves or not very splashy leaves from my Hoya Wilbur Graves China and Wilbur Graves Russia, basically my Hoya Wilbur Graves, I just stick them all in here just to give me a very mildly splashy Hoya Carnosa. Hoya Carnosas are very difficult to bloom, so I've heard. You can imagine just how surprised I was when the cute little vine that was climbing up my laptop on my work desk, when it came with a peduncle, like I was very surprised. And in that video, this peduncle was way smaller, way more delicate, like it was such a tiny thing, and now it's a lot bigger than it was. And I think it might actually go all the way and push a bloom. I might actually get Hoya Carnosa blooms. Like, what? From sort of like the rejects. I know it's terrible to call it that, but basically that's what this is. But trust me, I care for this just as much as I care for all of my other Hoya. No, it's not in a self-watering pot, but I've noticed that it doesn't need that much care. I notice it's just fine, just growing like a cup in a cup in a cup. So it has a reservoir that I keep full, and I'm not scared if it gets overwatered, but I think it doesn't mind either. It lives in my west window, and I'm excited for this one peduncle because once you see one, more is gonna come. And my Hoya Bella, I'm just gonna show it to you really quickly. My Hoya Bella blooms have opened. We've seen these many times. They're just so cute and they smell like sunscreen. That's what I always say, but they're so adorable. The plant itself does not look happy. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, the blooms just fell off. I'm just gonna try to bounce through the peduncle pushers as fast as possible. Another peduncle pusher is this guy. This is my Hoya Laconosa. I thought it was a Bruno, but I was told in the comments by a couple people to take it with a grain of salt that it's just an inner variegated Laconosa. So it could be either one. I don't know, but it's pushing some peduncles right here. I repotted it, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. That it may not even be that much. My answering questions, like my Hoya help desk video, it might have been that, or might have been in the original video that I scrapped. Yeah, it's pushed out 2 peduncles that look like they will actually go all the way. So that was one there that I just showed you. And the other one is up top right here. If you can see, this one is a lot skinnier. It looks pretty weak, but it's pushing blooms out at the bottom of it. It's pushing out something, I'm not sure. But again, once you see a couple peduncles, you can expect more to join. I don't think I've ever had Laconosa blooms. I've had Heuchkeliana, but I don't think there's a big difference between the two. I think they're gonna be very similar. I'm just hopping around. And I have one more peduncle pusher to show you. Whew. Yes, that was a lot, but I just wanted to give you also an update on the previous ones. And that's on this guy, my Hoya Tequila Sunrise, one that I did not expect a peduncle from. I have not changed anything about its care at all. I have so much, I have so much I want to show you about this plant, but I'm just going to promise and show just the peduncles. Last time you saw them, it was just this tiny little thing. It wasn't this advanced, and just look at how beautiful and perfect they are. They're even sun stressed too. So beautiful. I don't know what they're waiting on to bloom. They've been sitting like this for a couple days. Usually when my Hoya do that, when they stay closed like this for a couple days, it usually has something to do with the watering. But I've been a good girl and I've been making sure that the reservoir is full. I've been spraying it with orchid spray. So I'm not quite sure what it's waiting on to really open up these blooms, but I feel like they are right there. I feel like they're right there and they're just not ready yet. So you know what? I'm just gonna be patient and just let it do its thing, but they are so beautiful. They're vibrant. Oh goodness, I need a glossary. Okay, and that is the majority of the peduncle pushers in my collection that's doing something. I do have more peduncle pushers, but they're not actively pushing blooms right now. So I think we're good. I think I've captured most of them. Now let's get into the showstopper. So the showstopper for this month is one that you wouldn't expect. It is my Hoya, I think it's a Globulosa. I'm trying to remember if it's the Velosa or the Globulosa. I'm pretty sure it's the Globulosa Cowbang. And this plant, it's one of my favorites in my collection. I love it. And the reason why it's this month's showstopper is because of the foliage, especially this leaf here. I cannot get over just how beautiful this leaf is. Now it looks, because of all the lights to really help you to see, it looks way brighter on camera than it does in person. In person, the leaves are way darker than this. I'm going to try to manipulate the camera in a way to give you more of an accurate depiction of the way the leaves look in person. But it is this huge, this leaf is way bigger than I expected for this plant, and it is glossy. I don't even think it's finished growing yet. It's no, is it? Trying to figure out if it's hardened off. Yes, it is hardened off. Still a little soft, so it's only newly hardened off. There we go. That's a little better. The camera adjusted. This is closer. Still not as dark as it looks in person though. Closer, but not quite there yet. Yeah, it is pushing out these absolutely beautiful, oh, we're getting brighter again, beautiful leaves. I'm just so in love. And the leaves on this plant is pubescent, so there are little fuzzies, but the pubescence is at the bottom. Although you can see the pubescence, the little fuzzies at the top of the leaf, you can't quite feel the ones at the top. You can feel the ones at the bottom, and they feel so soft, delicate, soft to the touch. And this plant really captures my attention when I walk past the cabinet. I just love it. I tried growing it without a trellis, but I noticed that it would stop growing. And as soon as I put on the trellis, I think a month ago, it finally activated a bunch of leaves and pushed a lot of these out. Because if you compare it to 30 Days of Hoya, if I bring 30 Days of Hoya in here, I think it was a little bit smaller, and that part of it would have been filmed in May. So by the time you see this video, mid-May, June, end of June, so maybe a month and a half. It's not the fastest grower ever, but I do think like once you put it on a trellis, it will grow a little bit faster for you and in a self-watering pot, and is growing. I think this is Molly's aeroid mix. It has a bunch of nodes down here. Looks like it wants to activate, but it hasn't just yet. I think there might be another element that it needs that I haven't met yet, because I feel like this plant has the potential to grow a little bit faster, but it doesn't. So I'm not sure whether it wants more humidity, or I'm not quite sure what about it. Some of my Hoya I noticed prefer natural sunlight rather than grow lights, but I find it hard to believe that this plant with such dark leaves will want sunlight, the harsh sunlight, over grow lights. This is, again, one of the few Hoya that I wouldn't put into direct sunlight, but under gentler grow lights, I would. But anyways, that's this guy. It's just growing really slowly, but it's growing. It's growing. Ah, oh, it's so pretty. So it's time for our MVP. And this is the plant that I want to show you every single month. Every time I film a Hoya video, this is the plant that I just want to show you all the time. And I'm just like, they get it, Stephanie. It's a nice plant. I'm going to do it. Just bear with me. Probably my favorite Hoya. One of my favorite, depending on the day, maybe on a Tuesday, on a Friday, I don't know. But some days of the week, this is my favorite Hoya. This is my Hoya SPF Bretonier, or my Hoya DS70. It has a million names. Hoya Stones, according to Home Depot, or Proven Winners, depending on who you ask. This plant, a plant that is after my heart. This is one of the easiest Hoya you will ever find. And it is just such a generous grower. It just makes you look like you are the most fabulous plant parent. It doesn't require much. I mean, if this plant is not doing well for you, you're probably just not giving it enough light. I've stuck this into my south window. It is on the top shelf in my shelves at my south window, and it is just thriving. It has the most beautiful leaves. They are pubescent, ever so slightly pubescent on the undersides, and they have this beautiful inner yellowish variegation that comes out, that comes and goes depending on how much light you give it. If you find the variegation isn't showing as much, you can just give the plant more light, and the leaves that have been muted a little bit, they will bring back the variegation. At least I think that's what it is. I think that's what I've seen. Like, it will be muted and then the variegation will come back, but it is just everything. It just does all the things. I can't with this plant. If you have this plant, be ready. It is going to grow so beautifully for you. It is such a fast grower. It is a fantastic plant. Fantastic. I give it 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 if you watch my 30 Days of Hoya. It is beautiful. The new leaves get this cute little pinkish scent dressing to them. It does it all. It does it all. It's growing in my DIY mix, like an aeroid soilless mix. I lost light. But yeah, it is just so beautiful. I love it so much. I think the last thing I wanted to do for me is bloom. I'm just waiting on that. But I think I'm staying on top of the watering so much because I want this plant to keep growing nicely for me. Such a beautiful plant. This is my MVP, growing in self-watering. It's starting to push out roots into the res, and it might be due for a repot, but I'm going to wait until, I don't know, until I have a pot that's big enough. I don't know. I don't think I want to run and repot it just yet. I just want to leave it. Just let it do its thing. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. It's so beautiful and so full. Such a great plant. And I have never done anything but grow this plant. So I've never propagated it. I'd never stuck cuttings and stuck it back into the plant. I've never done any of that. This is just how it came from the nursery. How it came. So beautiful. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate the time you took to spend to watch this video. Let me know which of your Hoya were your favorite this month, what it was doing for you. Let me know the successes that you've been having with your plants. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.